Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, went absolutely ape the other day after a judge, and this is the judge that has gone against Jeanine Pirro in her office several times in recent weeks in kind of the hardest fashion you could imagine. But this judge once again called out Jeanine Pirro, basically accusing her of creating a constitutional crisis. And Jeanine Pirro did not take it well and got on social media to let it fly about how much she hates this damn judge that she still has to go up against, so maybe attacking them on social media is not the smartest thing. But first, let me tell you what the judge said. And this is a judge I've talked about before. It is Judge Zia Farron. And as usual, my apologies. I'm most likely mispronouncing that name, and I am sorry about that. And just a quick explainer on that, because I get it a lot when people are like, you mispronounce this. I don't watch news. I never, ever, ever, ever watch news. So I don't hear other people pronounce these names. I only see it in writing because I read. So when I mispronounce a name, it's not because I'm just an idiot or I'm being disrespectful. It's because if I see it and I don't recognize it, I don't know it, I will typically pronounce it phonetically. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. I do mispronounce a lot of names, but that is why, because I don't ever hear other people say them and I don't know how to pronounce them. Anyway, we'll call him Judge Zia. But Judge Zia said this. And this was about a case, by the way. I got to give you the backstory. I got caught up in my own explanation about names. But Judge Zia was overseeing a case where the prosecutors, Jeanine Pirro's office, decided to drop the charges against a drunken man who had threatened, he got drunk at a bar. He's like, I hate the president. I want to kill him. Something like that. So they're like, we're going to charge him. And then they realize okay, we really can't do that. So the judge, after they said we're going to pull the charges, the judge said this. Why is the government not out of sheer embarrassment and shame seeking to dismiss with prejudice and expunge the record? We're past the point of constitutional crisis. We're acting like this is all normal. What's to prevent people from just getting rounded up off the streets? These are people with names and rights. People like the defendant are suffering the consequences as the DOJ's losing credibility. You created this mess, he said to the prosecutors before telling them they have had too many misfires. The government's message to people who look like the defendant is, be very afraid. I'm afraid right now. And of course, that is in reference to the man who got drunk and threatened. Donald Trump was, of course, not a white guy. So, here is what Jeanine Pirro said in response to this basically dressing down from the judge. Let me tell you about this Judge Farron. This is a judge who, by his own words, is trying to justify felons illegally carrying firearms in one of the most violent cities in America. He has repeatedly indicated his allegiance to those who violate the law and carry illegal guns, justifying the possession of these guns and constantly pushing for the release of these dangerous criminals back into our communities. I'm going to stop right there and remind Jeanine Pirro that she was appointed by a guy who released over 1,500 criminals literally onto the streets of D.C. Okay? You don't have a right to talk about somebody else saying this person can go. They had an illegal gun, and that's the charge you should have brought. Not, we're going to get him for trying to kill the president. He didn't try to. He said something stupid while he was drinking. Anyway, she continues. In speaking about a defendant possessing an illegal gun, in his view, if you are a felon just holding an illegal gun, I don't think that makes you a danger. And they said the worst thing a judge can have is they release somebody and they go out and they do something terrible. I don't think that's the worst thing. I think the worst thing is that I don't give you a shot. This judge took an oath to follow the law, yet he has allowed his politics to consistently cloud his judgment and his requirements to follow the law. America voted for safe communities, law and order, and this judge is the antithesis of that. No, this judge is ignoring you and upholding the law. That's what's happening. This judge has repeatedly told you you're violating people's constitutional rights. You're locking them up without due process, and he has had to order some of these people released. You're upcharging them, basically trying to hit them with felonies when what they've really committed were misdemeanors. You're the one that is making a mockery of justice, not this judge. But Jeanine Pirro is too dumb, as actually former Fox or current Fox executives said after the 2020 election. She's insane and a reckless maniac. Yeah, that was actually revealed this past week in those documents from the Smartmatic defamation lawsuit against Fox News. The executives referred to Jeanine Pirro as insane and as a reckless maniac. And we're supposed to take the word of an insane, reckless maniac, according to Fox executives? We're supposed to listen to her as a prosecutor? We're supposed to believe what she says when they admitted that she goes to conspiracy theory websites instead of actual news websites? I don't think so. I'll take the word of Judge Zia any day over anything Jeanine Pirro has to say. If you've ever wondered how scammers get your phone number or why your inbox is flooded with spam, this is how they do it. Companies called data brokers sell your data to anyone willing to pay for it. They do it without your consent, and they make billions selling it to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And while they're legally required to remove your info if you ask, they make the process confusing and hard on purpose. That's why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family and friends. They take care of the hard part by automatically removing your info from these sites and keeping it off. Aura is all-in-one digital security. You may already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door open. You get alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web. They provide real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking. They have 24/7 monitoring to help keep your identity secure. They provide a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and so much more. And they have US-based support available around the clock if anything goes wrong. If anything does end up happening, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. And they have US fraud experts ready to help you 24/7. It's one app that provides every layer of protection. I don't want to leave myself vulnerable online, and you shouldn't either, and that's why I personally use Aura. Your personal data is collected by almost every single website you go to. Every shopping site you enter your information, it becomes the property of that company that then hands it to the brokers that then hand it to anyone. So protect yourself with Aura. Try it for yourself. You can go to aura.com/Farron to try 14 days for free. That's enough time for Aura to start scrubbing your personal info off these data broker sites without you lifting a finger.